What's going on, beautiful people? It's your girl, Linda S. Hustler, also known as the Bodacious Lifestyle Coach for Black women over 50. And this is the Beyond, Boldly Beyond 50. I'm so sorry, y'all. Sometimes that menopause just kick in when you least expect it. But this is the Boldly Beyond 50, a Black woman's guide to aging with excellence author, co-author interview series. And I am here with Ida Marie Briggs. She is one of our phenomenal co-authors. And what I wanted to do was give each co-author an opportunity to not only give you a little taste of their chapter, but also what made them want to come on board with this phenomenal project and what has come out of it. Because I've had some authors say it has really been a life-changing experience for them. So without further ado, I am going to turn it over to Miss Ida Marie Briggs. Just introduce yourself to the beautiful people. And I guess we'll start with, how did you initially hear about this project?
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Ida Marie Briggs, and affectionately known as Miss Marie. And actually, this came at a perfect time. I had just lost my sister and was dealing with a lot of grief, and something inside of me, and I believe it was her saying, "Girl, you got to keep on going. There's stuff in you and you got to get it out. So, no tears, get up and keep going," which she would always do. And I did this to honor her by
Right.
just saying, "I'm going to keep going. I'm going to,
Mm.
I'm going to keep going. It's going to be hard, but I'm going to keep going."
Wow. I
Yeah.
really, so basically you were on Facebook. Where did you, have you
Yeah.
always been following me? How did
Well,
you?
yes, I've been following you for a long time, and just
Okay.
seeing how you advanced in when you first started to see where you're at. I actually saw you on a commercial, a knee commercial, and I said, "Oh my girl, look at this one!" And when I saw the ad, I was like, "I got to be a part of what she's
Mhm.
doing." You know?
Oh, I really
Yeah,
appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
yeah.
So with that in mind, how would you describe what being bold beyond 50 means to you?
Well, being bold beyond 50, and I'm past 50. I'm in the 60s.
Right?
It's just unapologetically who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing who you are, staying in your own lane, and not allowing anyone else to sway you in what you're supposed to do. And by the time we reach 50, and I'll even give 60, we should really know who we are, what we're supposed to be doing, how we're supposed to be doing it, and we're supposed to be doing it. It's not
Yes.
potential anymore. We
Right.
have gained our wisdom along the way with all the hard knocks and bruises, and we boldly have to stand up to help the younger ones get to where we are and give them practical application. Like, girl, I did this. Now I'm gonna tell you, you can do it, but it didn't work out for me. And I'm just gonna let you know you might need to change your direction and just step back a little bit, or tone your attitude down or whatever. And so that we're there to give them the instruction so that they reach the 50 and beyond and be bold about it and not broken and bruised. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So how are you being bold beyond 50?
Whew.
Ha ha.
So being bold, I've always wanted to and have always served my community.
Mhm.
But when 2020 hit, the pandemic, forced us in situations that we weren't expecting. And the blessing for me was my job laid me off.
Hey,
And
I want to stop you right there
yes,
because you said the blessing for you is that your job laid you off. Do you know how many people the pandemic? I mean, there were some tragedies,
yes,
of course, that came from the pandemic,
yes,
but a lot of people said that was the blessing, being
right.
laid off. It's like we finally got a chance to woosah after just being on the grind and
Exactly.
busy for so many years.
Yes.
Was that your experience?
Yes, I was
Mhm.
commuting back and forth, hour, hour and a half, going and coming, so that's 3 hours of my life. When did I have time to really work on Marie and what Marie wanted?
Mhm.
And I remember, just saying when they did lay me off, that was a relief for me because now guess what? I get to do Marie. I get to
Yeah.
build the nonprofit that I've been working on. I get to start bringing the dreams that I've been having to fruition, because
Yes.
now I have the time. I had time to think. I had time to experiment and, get out there and do some things. So
Mhm.
I'm exactly I believe I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Okay, awesome. And so now, have you gone back to work? Or are you still, you figured it out? You're just like, you know what? I'm going to just do me
Um,
unapologetically. I'm going to find a way to use my resources, be resourceful, and then create the life that I truly want to live.
I knew when they laid me off, I was not going back. I was already over 60. I'm set in my ways. I already saw the landscape of the working, corporate. I don't like that landscape. They're
Mm-hmm.
about getting money and I'm about helping people. And I knew
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do it anymore. If and they would fire me because I'd be like, I just can't. After you get a certain age, you'd be like, I just can't do this. You can do
Right.
what you want. I'm going home. You think about it in the morning. But I knew for me, after being in so many jobs in corporate and being laid off and looking back, trying to get back in, and I said, this is it for me. God, whatever you have or whatever you put in me, it's time for me to develop me and bring it out so that I can continue doing what I want to do. And that's what I've been doing. And it's been surprising. It's moving forward and I'm
Okay.
excited. I'm excited to see where it goes.
All right. So what are you doing right now?
So I actually am a founder of my nonprofit. It's called
Okay.
the Mustard Seed Enterprises, and we support children,
Mm-hmm.
youth that have been put placed in a foster care system, living in orphanages, or diagnosed with a critical illness. I have a program that covers them with love and their personalized quilts, which I get a chance to meet people in the community and find out what their likes are, but to give them something that belongs to them when they're transitioning from home to home. And I've
Mm-hmm.
worked with children in foster care for some time. And the biggest thing they said, Miss Marie, is nothing belongs to me. I go
Oh,
to this home, it's not my family. These aren't my people. Nothing in there is mine. So I came up with the idea of giving them a personalized quilt that they can take with them when they're going. So at least they have something that belongs to them.
wow.
And through that, I've just the things that have impacted me in my life and my growing, support families that are in homelessness, well, transitioning from homelessness back to self-sufficiency. And that was due to me having a fire in my home and we were rendered homeless. And
Mhm.
what do when the rug is pulled out from underneath you? And my promise was, after being there and being able to get myself and my family out from under the homelessness umbrella, is to reach back and help other people who can't advocate for themselves, cannot communicate, can't even express it because sometimes it's so traumatic you can't say a word except damn, there's nothing, you can't do anything. So I want to be there to help other people who are transitioning, going through that, get back with helping them with resources and referrals, those type of things, where and those little unspoken things. We look at homelessness and yeah, food is a necessity and a roof over the head, but sometimes just, giving somebody or a woman a little bottle of cologne that she feels good.
Huh. Okay. I know
Okay.
that's right. Yes,
So,
ma'am.
those little things, or the kids, I've had families, the children never even had a bed. And when they got a
Mm,
bed, you should have seen. And I'm like, you mean this is all y'all needed was just to have your own bed? And those are the things in the stories. I have many stories, but those are the things that keep me going forward as I'm serving the community.
okay, so that's keeping you boldly beyond
Yes, I'm
50.
bold. They tell me, I go, Miss Marie, don't play. Mm-mm. You come correct with me. Come
Okay,
correct. You can get what you want, but come
right,
correct about it, and I'll work on your behalf. But you
right.
coming silly and acting, mm-mm. And they'll
Okay.
tell me in a minute, that Miss Maria, I don't care. I am boldly beyond 50.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
And we ain't got time to play. We don't
Okay.
have time.
So tell me this, without going into your chapter, what was the title of your chapter and why did you choose that story to be the chapter for the anthology?
um, the chapter is called I'm Using What I Got.
Mm,
And I I don't even know when I started penning this years ago, because it was always about learning what's on the inside of you to get what you want. And that
mhm.
meant you got to use what you got. That means you got to recognize it, you got to develop it, you got to use it, all of that. And it has always been, well, my dad used to say, use what you got, use what you got. And
Mhm.
I now just say, I'm using what I got when I get to a place where I see like it's nowhere. It's like, okay, Lord, what is it that I'm supposed to be using? What am I not seeing? What am I not
Mhm.
doing? What am I not using? And that's what I do. I tell everybody, use what you got, because
Right.
you won't get sidetracked or get into that imposter syndrome, because if you know what you got and know how to work it, you can get anything that you want. And you know that that's it. I'm just using what I got.
Okay. So would you say that using what you got is also about, a lot of times people will say they don't have resources, but I'm saying, but you can be resourceful, meaning God has given us all gifts and
Ex-
talents. And
ex-
and if we use those, if we look at everybody that we call winning, what they're really doing is using their gifts and talents.
exactly. That's it. When you start studying, because so many times, and I say this because it's important for me to say that, and even on my screen, I'm possible. That is
Mhm.
what I used to say, because I was one of those people who did everything that everybody else told me to do. But
Right.
I overlooked what I was supposed to be doing. And when I started realizing I'm possible, and guess what? I'm possible by using what I got. I'm
Mhm.
not possible by trying to be Linda. Okay.
Okay.
Linda get up there and do all that stuff. No, I'm not Linda, but I'm
Right.
possible being Marie. I am
Mhm.
really possible. I'm possible using my gifts of sewing and my, creativity and my mind, and, being able to develop things and create programs for people. I'm possible that way because that's who I am. I'm using what I got.
Yes. I love it. I love it because
Yeah.
I don't get an opportunity to. Well, I could have asked everybody, but I wanted to leave those questions to the interview series so that
Mhm.
I could be like, oh, okay, I love that. I love that. And so, for anyone who does recognize that they do have gifts and talents, working with your theme, the title of your chapter, which is using what I got, what would you say to somebody who knows that there's something special in them, but they've been maybe don't have the confidence to actually step out, or they've been doing a thing for a while and they worried about what other people may think, like if they flip the script
Mhm.
later in life, right? Which is why I'm doing this anthology, because the theme of the anthology is literally about flipping the
It's
script
good.
after 50. So, how
Yeah.
would you encourage somebody to really, regardless of what they've been doing for the last 20 or 30 years, realize that as long as they're alive, they can thrive and they can do the thing that they truly want to do in their heart?
So the one thing that I wanted to say, because we do a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
over our years that come very easy to us,
Mm-hmm.
those are the things that we're supposed to be working on. And
Mm-hmm.
what the pandemic taught me, when everybody was saying pivot, for
Yeah.
me, it wasn't pivoting, it was digging deeper down, because there, wherever you're at, especially in valley moments, it's like the pandemic had us, we
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be down there digging, digging. What other treasures are down here? What other gifts and talents have I not been using to develop who I'm supposed to be? So I just want to encourage everybody that there's always more. And when you feel like, oh, I'm at my end, that's not true. You
Mm-hmm.
just didn't dig deeper, because it
Mm-hmm.
could be the book, it could be a movie, it could be the script, it could be
Mm-hmm.
the nonprofit, it could be a program. Just dig deeper and pivot. Pivot your thinking. That's it. I would, well, not to get in my story, you'll see when you get the book, I went from one thing to the next thing to the next thing until I said, oh, I ain't doing all of those. I'm doing this. But it all led me to where I'm supposed to be and where I feel grounded enough to say, this is where I'm going to stand, this is where I'm going to develop, and this is where I'm going to deploy all my gifts and talents into using what I got to help and serve my community. That's
Wow, that is wonderful. Thank you so much for that. It's interesting because we look at people and we think we know them. And even though I've done this short interview with you, it's not like I can say, oh, I know her and this is what
yeah.
happened, this is where she was born. But I really got a sense of who you are. And this whole thing where you make quilts, did you say you make
Yes.
quilts?
Yes.
You have a 501c that makes quilts for
Yes.
foster youth.
Yes.
That is amazing.
Yes. And we're doing more. Last year, we had a sewing program for our children. I taught them how to make a silk pillowcase for so that
Yeah.
they could sleep on it for their hair. They made shorts. We had a good time. Our children, especially our children that are in foster care, what I'm seeing, they need places where they first feel safe enough so that
Mm-hmm.
they can start growing past the hurts, habits, and hangups they might have experienced along the way. And I know for a fact that I'm a safe place. And
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact I can help other people cultivate the gifts that they have in them by just acknowledging them. A lot of times, those little quiet kids that's sitting over there quiet and they don't say anything, it's because nobody poured anything into them.
Wow.
Nobody warded them.
Yeah.
Nobody said, I see you.
Right.
And with Miss Marie, I'm going to see y'all. I see everybody. I love it. And I can, there's just, I truly love this part. I truly love being able to use the ability of pouring into other people to watch them grow and
Yes.
develop,
Yes.
because it lets me know who I am
Yes.
and the potential I have to help and serve other people.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, in closing, with your chapter in the book, what do you want women to walk away with? Why did you feel that that was the chapter that you wanted to share, with the theme of the anthology being to basically shift after 50, or have the courage to do
Right.
what you really want to do
Yeah.
and not worry about age being
Right.
why you do it?
The age is one factor, but I just know we wear so many hats. We're doing, we go to work, we go to church, we got the kids, we got husbands, or we're single or whatever. We're doing so many things that I don't want others to forget who they are and
Mm,
forget what they have is valuable in the community or in the next sister's life. Even if you're just there to encourage her through a tough time or something with her family or her children,
mhm.
be that ear, be that support for somebody that helps them cross over and get where you're at. Because guess what? When it's your turn, you're going to need somebody.
Yeah.
So that's all I wanted to encourage other women, um, in general, to get in our places, our
Mhm.
assigned places, so we're in position to help the next one, because we
Yeah.
got babies coming after us that need our help.
Yes. And it's
So
really all about getting in alignment with your
yes,
assignment.
yes,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? Getting
Yes.
in alignment with your assignment. So, what would you say to anybody who's probably been seeing these interviews and like, oh, I don't know, I don't know really how to write, but I think I do have a chapter in me, and because we're working on volume 2 of
Hmm.
the anthology now. What would you say to that person who's kind of wondering if this experience would be a good experience for them?
Take the jump.
Mm,
Anything that you do, I always say, make it great. Make it great. Okay.
right.
It may not be the best experience, but if you bring your best to it, you
Yes.
can't say anything, just,
Right.
and that develops who you are. Jumping in, like you said, taking the courage to jump in and do it, make
Hmm.
it great, keep going, and
Hmm.
do it on purpose. Just do it
Yes.
this time on purpose. I always say on purpose means that you're intentionally putting your best foot forward. That's
All
it.
right. All
That's
right.
it.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so
Yeah.
much for your time. You
Yes.
look absolutely wonderful.
Thank
Um,
you.
I'm really excited about all the work that you're doing. Keep on doing that.
Thank you.
Keep
Thank you.
on doing that.
You as
It was
well.
different
Hmm.
quilts. Like we are. I just love us. Black people. I just absolutely and thoroughly love us. So thank you so much for
You're
trusting
welcome.
your story with the anthology, Boldly Beyond 50, A Black Woman's Guide to Aging with Excellence. All right?
All right. Thank you.
So much.